Hi, I'm Marv Charon, your attorney, and the purpose of this video is to help prepare you for your deposition. Now, we'll also be scheduling a meeting for you to meet me here at the office to discuss the contents of your file and go over the facts of your case. But again, the video is just to give you an idea as to what's going to take place in the deposition and how to handle it. Okay, what's a deposition? A deposition is a procedure whereby we will go to the attorney's office who represents the other side with the idea in mind that we will go into a conference room and sit down, and there will be questioning by that attorney of you that'll relate to things that it will include the facts of the incident, your injuries, your medical care and treatment, and some background questions. Probably one of the first things people ask is, why do they take my deposition? Well, the answer is, up until you go in there, all they know about you is a big file and all the papers that are contained. So in reality, what's occurring is you become real to them at this point in time. It's their one and only opportunity to essentially evaluate you as a witness if the case were to go to trial. And what does that mean? Well, like everything else in life, we have a tendency, if we like someone, to want to help them. If we don't like them, we don't want to help them. So the concept is that we want to portray you as a good witness so that the other side will say, well, if this case goes to trial, the jury is going to like this person and be more willing to help them. Okay. And there's ways to do that. Number one, a lot of people go to depositions with the idea in mind that they're almost going to sit there and growl at the other side. You don't want to do that. You want to be friendly, cooperative, and responsive to the questions, but you always do want to remember that the attorney there is representing the other side. So it's kind of a balancing act. You want to be friendly, cooperative, and responsive, but again, you want to keep them at arm's length. Okay. Some rules that will help you make the deposition go faster and smoother are as follows. One, all of your answers have to be out loud with words as opposed to shakes of the head, nods, or gestures, because the court reporter who's sitting there taking down everything cannot take down anything other than actual words. So if inadvertently you were to go, or shake your head or nod, either I or the other attorney is most likely to say to you, Mr. Jones, is that a yes or a no? Because we have to get a verbal response. So understand that nobody's picking on you. It just simply means that we need a verbal response. Okay. Second thing is, it's very important to wait until the attorney asking the questions has completely finished their question. And you're doing that for three reasons. Number one, and the rule really is, you don't want to anticipate their questions. Number one, the court reporter cannot take down two people speaking at a time. So you have to wait for the other lawyer to finish his question before you answer. Number two, in case I want to object to the question, you haven't answered it so quickly that I haven't had an opportunity to object to it. Now that doesn't mean that after every question you look over to see if whether I'm going to object. No, what I'd like you to do is just focus entirely on the other lawyer, keep your eyes on that person, but if you hear my voice, that means I don't like something and I want you to stop. Don't finish the question, don't finish your sentence, don't finish anything, just stop if you hear my voice. I'll then instruct you as to whether to continue to answer or not. And as I said earlier, the third and most important reason to wait till the other lawyer finishes their question is because you don't want to anticipate their question. And you're going to do that. It's human nature. People do it all the time. So you have to fight the urge not to anticipate the question. 95% of the time, you'd be right on what you thought the question was going to be. The problem is that if you answer a question because you anticipated it and didn't wait till the lawyer finished, and you give a wrong answer, that court reporter has taken it down and you're stuck with it, whether it's harmful or not. So please, always wait for them to finish their question and don't anticipate the question. Okay. There's what I call 3 golden rules of a deposition. And again, these are rules that if you follow, the deposition will go much faster, much smoother, and less chance of any problem. So, golden rule number 1, Don't answer questions you don't understand under any circumstances whatsoever. Now, if you're asked a question you don't understand, what I simply want you to do is use one phrase and one phrase only, and that is, I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Don't ask, do you mean this? Do you mean that? No, simply say, I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Now, that's not an easy thing to do because most people feel if they answer a question or don't answer a question, the other person will think they're okay. And you're right. People are worried that they might think they're being stupid. You're not being stupid. It's extremely important, again, if you don't understand a question, simply say, I don't understand the question. Golden rule number 2, only answer the question that's asked and don't volunteer information. If the question can be answered with a yes or a no, answer it with a yes or a no. Most questions cannot be answered with just a yes or no. The key is to focus on the question and only answer the question that's asked. Don't volunteer. We're there to give them the information they're bright enough to ask. We're not there to help them. Now, in answering questions, sometimes people have a tendency to go on and on. And this is kind of a funny thing that I'll say. If they ask you what time it is, don't tell them how to build a watch. Okay? Very important point. And let me let you know that during the deposition, if inadvertently they ask you a question and you start to ramble on, there's a great likelihood that what's going to happen is I'm going to slap my hand on the desk and say, thank you, Mr. Jones, you've answered the question. And your first response is going to be, my God, that's my lawyer. Why is he yelling at me? I'm not yelling at you. It's the only way I can legitimately let you know that you're talking too much. Okay. Third golden rule. Who was the 18th President of the United States? That's the correct answer, because I don't know who the 18th President of the United States was either. The point is to illustrate to you that the third golden rule is don't guess at answers. Don't guess at answers. If you don't know, you don't know. Likewise, if you don't remember something, you don't remember. There's nothing wrong with saying, I don't know or I don't remember. Now, people also have a problem with that because just like in our first golden rule, nobody likes to say I don't understand because they think if I say that, they'll think I'm stupid. People also feel I've got to have an answer for everything. Well, you can't. And nobody's going to think you're stupid if you don't have an answer, such as who's the 18th President of the United States. The key is don't guess at answers. If you don't know, you say, I don't know. If you don't remember, you say, I don't remember. Okay. There's always an exception to certain rules, and here's one exception. There's a difference between what's called a guess and an estimate. And we'll talk more about that depending upon whether your case is an automobile accident. But in automobile accidents, you're always going to be asked questions relating to times, distances, and speeds. And let me tell you, most people are not good at estimating time, distance, and speed. You may be able to give an estimate, but if you can, by law, you're required to give that estimate. But if you can't give an estimate, you are allowed to say, I don't know or I don't remember. And again, don't guess at answers. Okay, those are the guidelines for what a deposition is, how it takes place, and the rules you want to follow to make it go smoother. Again, when we meet, we'll go over the facts of your file and we'll touch on these rules. But I would appreciate if you would watch this video at least 2 times, and it'll help get you ready for our meeting. Okay? All right, I'll see you at our meeting.